Hi everyone, my name's Dan Booth. I chose the movie When Harry Met Sally. I chose this movie because I'm a big Rob Reiner fan. Nora Ephron, she's a great writer. She wrote the script for this, and then I mean, obviously you got Billy Crystal. Can't go wrong with that. Hilarious. Um, so kind of an overview of the movie. It's about Harry and Sally and how they first meet right after college and how they kind of have these negative interactions, kind of part ways, and about how their lives kind of cross paths that they live in New York City and get older, and eventually these negative interactions turn into kind of positive conflicts that they have, and eventually they have a relationship with one another that blossoms into them getting married and all that fun stuff. But again, I chose this movie because it was so well written, and it's got some great scenes in it. So conflict. The quote I have here, it says, "Were it not for conflict, we would not have meaningful relationships." And I pulled that from the text, and I think that kind of defines what this movie is about. It's about that conflict, and from that, how it blossoms into this meaningful relationship. Uh, so the first three interactions we see between Harry and Sally in the movie, three different points in their lives where they cross paths. Each time it's negative or it's dysfunctional conflict. Our book defines dysfunctional conflict as a conflict that creates one or more serious relationship problems. And each time they meet, you kind of see Harry. He's just kind of a guy's guy. He's kind of crude and a little rough around the edges somewhat. And Sally's very more proper and prim kind of a woman. And you see that she just doesn't really much care for Harry. And Harry seems kind of indifferent towards the relationship or the interactions they have. The dynamics of this kind of change once they get to a point in their lives where they both are a little more mature. We come to this scene where there's an interaction in the bookstore where they meet again, and I believe it's the fourth time they meet, and we see the conflict go from dysfunctional to very functional. It's still conflict between the two of them. There's still disagreements, but we see this relationship start to build off of functional conflict. And our book defines functional conflict as conflict that develops a clear understanding of needs, attitudes, or beliefs. And the needs here between the two characters, they've both been through big breakups in their lives, so they both have this sadness and this kind of need to feel that loneliness and that sadness, and that's what they do with one another. That's what their relationship is about. Emotions. The emotions in this movie. I mean, obviously, you have two people that are start off hating each other, then sadness brings them together, and then eventually they fall in love. But the quote I have for emotions here: "It is how we feel about the interpersonal situations that influence our emotions, feelings and emotional responses to the situation." I thought that was very fitting. Um, During the first three interactions, Sally feels anger, kind of disgust towards Harry. Um, Harry is kind of indifferent towards them. Um, let's see, and then the two characters obviously they share the emotion of sadness together. What they had at the beginning was kind of the first few interactions, debilitative emotions, and that's defined as an emotion that impedes a person's ability to function effectively. And they kind of Sally kind of saw that problem with how Harry was with her. She was disgusted. She was drawn back from him. She didn't much care for it. Uh, but then eventually, after the bookstore, after some maturity on both their parts, we kind of see a facilitative emotion, and that's defined as an emotion that promotes effective functioning. Um, and again, that comes back to the functional conflict between the two of them, where they can interact with each other, and it might not always be positive, but it's kind of a back and forth that they have to help each other, to build on each other. It's kind of the opposites attracting. Um, and then last we have Conversations. This is again a really well written movie, and it's all about the conversations that they have, and we see through their small talk, um, how these characters are developing and falling for one another, and how they are so similar and so different at the same time. Small talk shows their differences, their compatibilities, their ability to maintain this small talk consistently that allows their relationship to build. And the quote that I used for this was, he defines small talk as spontaneous conversation that lays the foundation for an interpersonal relationship, and that's again, that's like the theme of this movie, is their interactions, their small talk. Lastly, we have the theories. Um, so I was going through the book, going through the text and all our readings, and these theories I thought really helped define or help better understand what's going on in these movies. Cost benefit theory. This is a theory that there is a equation done in everyone's head where there's they kind of weigh the benefits of whether this is good for me or bad for me, this relationship. Am I going to get something out of this, or is it going to be damaging? And we see Sally at the beginning kind of see her and Harry's relationship, or the potential for it, as damaging, and watching her kind of weigh the cost and step away from Harry on their first few interactions. And then rational dialects theory, and that's basically it kind of explains. It's a theory that explains like the ups and downs, the pushes and pulls in their relationship, and basically how relationships never stop growing. And I thought this really encompassed the whole movie, because we see that their relationship, it's not it doesn't start off as their opposites are going to attract and they were meant to be together. It's really just watching these two people grow separately, um, not caring for one another, and then eventually kind of connecting on this level that they didn't know was possible. Um, and how they connect with one another, and how that builds into this long lasting relationship where they love one another and eventually they become married. And I really felt that encompassed the film and what it was trying to portray. It's not trying to portray, like I said, they were meant to be together, but more of how we grow as individuals and change, and how our relationships are changing forms. And that's really what this movie is their relationship changing form and becoming something really positive and good. So anyways, yeah, that's my movie, When Harry Met Sally. Thank you guys for your time.